Imagine you had 100 hours of self-development to invest in what you're good at, what you're average at, and what you're bad at. How would you split up those 100 hours? Would it be 33, 33, 33? Would it be 20, 20, 60? Would it be 40, 40, 20? How would you split up those 100 hours for personal growth and self-transformation? Now, you're probably thinking of so many different versions in your head. I want you to decide on just one. They asked the most successful people, healthy, wealthy, and wise in the world, how they would use those hours. The results were incredible and maybe quite surprising. The most successful people in the world, they said their ratio would either be 80, 10, 10 or 100, 0, 0. That's 80 to 100% of people saying that they'd invest in what they're good at the most, what they're average and what they're bad at wouldn't get any investment at all, or about 10%. Now you may be wondering, how does that make sense? But actually this understanding and this result has a great correlation to our success. I remember speaking to a very successful businessman at my university when I was studying. He told me that he was an introvert, and so to become successful in business, he'd surrounded himself and his team was largely made up of extroverts. He told me that if someone was an extrovert, they could easily surround themselves with introverts. The point that he was making is that he'd created a system by which he was able to play to his strengths. See, when we invest 80 to 100% of our development and energy in what we're good at, we excel at it and become unbeatable in that field, in that area. But even if we invested all that time in what we're average at and what we're bad at, we'd only ever be average or good. And today there's so many studies and research suggesting that the more we invest in our strengths, the more we invest in our skills, the more we invest in what we already excel at, that's going to allow us to not only feel more fulfilled, but also make a difference. When I spoke to Tim Ferriss, he told me that the most successful people in the world invested in their strengths. They'd focused on the one or two things they were good at and loved and decided to become experts in those fields. You can always outsource and find other people to fill the gaps of skills that you don't always have. And that's why I say when it comes to your skills, invest in your strengths. And when it comes to your qualities, invest in your weaknesses.